friends. I'm Lindsay Morgan, nonprofit resource specialist at the Community Resource Envision Center. But my friends call me Birdie, and you can too. Welcome to A Little Birdie Told Me, formerly known as the Envision Center News Podcast. Around here, we share the good stuff happening in North Idaho nonprofits and philanthropy, the stories behind the work, the people making it happen, and the little things I'm hearing that are making a big difference in our community. So stay tuned for a bird's eye view of the true heart of our community. Connie, I'm so glad you're here with me today. Normally you're in this seat. As our listeners may know, that you have done a great job running our podcast in the past. And now you're on to other things. And I'm really excited to hear about all these great projects you have going on in our community here. So let's start with first, if you'll tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah. My name's Connie Kiehn. I'm originally from Washington State. Moved to Sandpoint in 2022, at the end of 2022. And I like to tell people that I had it in my mind. My husband and I got married in Sandpoint before COVID. We knew about Sandpoint before COVID. We had it in our 10-year plan to move here before COVID.
So you're not one of those people.
We're not one of those people. Come on, don't put me in that box. Although we did move here after COVID. And so my mom moved here first, and she's been here for over 10 years now. So we knew about Sandpoint because of visiting her. Wow, this place is really great. We should move here. So we moved here, and I work from home. I have a remote job, and we have 4 children together. And actually, we're expecting our 5th.
You are?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And when we moved here, we had 2. So we've been fruitful here in Sandpoint, in the land of milk and honey. No.
Something in the water, I guess.
There is. It's northern Idaho. You don't even have a lot of kids. Still, you have like 5. I feel like we're
That's probably right.
going over the abyss now at 5. That's like crazy amount of kids.
Wow, that's really exciting. Okay.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to get myself together here. Okay.
So, yes, I work from home. I got all these kids, and we love it here.
Good. Well, we love having you here. I'm so thrown. That's exciting. Okay, so you are a co-founder with your husband, right?
Yes.
Of Honey Pearl Productions.
Yes.
So tell us more about what that is.
Yes. So I grew up as a theater kid, not as a theater adult, meaning I didn't really participate in theater as an adult, considered majoring in theater, and I wanted to direct community theater programs and plays. I actually didn't really have aspirations to go to Broadway. I was realistic and knew I probably had no chance of doing that. But I was like, if I can create a program that's as good as the one that I grew up in, and that one meant the world to me and so many others, maybe I'll do that. And it'll be a more steady paycheck and all of that. But then I decided I didn't want to be a starving artist, and that every theater major ends up going and trying to be the community theater director. So, because they all fail at going to Broadway, 90% of them don't make it on Broadway.
Oh, that's a sad story.
And so it's just real,
Sure.
I got to keep it real. And so I was like, even if I don't have the aspiration to go to Broadway, it's going to be so competitive to get these limited theater directing type of positions. And, in schools, the arts are like the first thing to get cut when budget cuts come and stuff. And so I went in the complete opposite direction and majored in economics, and eventually went on and joined the military and couldn't really do extracurriculars while I was doing that. And then I got married and had kids and all of the things. But when we moved here, my mom saw an audition post for Legally Blonde, which was being produced by LPO Repertory Theater. And she said, you should audition for this. And I was like, well, Elle Woods has kind of always been a dream role, but I'm too old and too brown for that. But you know what? I'll give it a go and just see what happens.
Why not?
Yeah.
That's the worst that can happen, right?
And I actually went into it, I'm like, I'll audition so that they know that I exist, basically. So when other roles come around, maybe I'll make a good impression at this one. And if there's something else that's more realistic for me to do, then I can do that. Because I didn't think with the kids that we had and stuff that I wanted to take on a small role and have to like find a babysitter and stuff.
Sure.
For like an ensemble part. But I'm like, I'll go to the audition. And then to my shock and dismay, they cast me as Elle Woods.
Hey, if Elle Woods can pass the bar, you can be Elle Woods if you want to be.
That's right. And, you know, before that, I knew that they were casting me. I mean, I was pretty sure that they were going to cast me as Elle Woods based on how they reacted to my audition and the questions that they asked me. But they said, do you know any men? And I'm like, I'm married to one. He's pretty good at karaoke. And they're like, send him to the audition. So he showed up the next day for auditions, and he got cast as Emmett Forrest, who's the lead role, the male lead role in the play. So we got to, you know, that's who Elle Woods gets engaged to at the end of the play, played by Luke Wilson in the movie. And so we got to play a real, that's like really a couple adorable. On stage. And then, you know, I'd say I got bitten by the bug again. You know, I realized how fun theater was and that I really did miss it. And my husband discovered that it was great fun as well. But even then we thought we were kind of one and done, and, you know, we'd go back to just being parents and
regular people,
right? Which we still are, but now we're regular people that do community theater.
Yeah.
But then I ended up doing the choreo for the show for Legally Blonde because the choreographer dropped. And so I think through that kind of leadership position, people kind of saw something in me, and other community theater people here locally were like, have you ever considered directing a play yourself or starting an organization? And this was something my husband didn't even know about me, really. Like, he knew that I did plays, but he didn't know, like, I actually used to dream about directing plays and running.
Like how far it went, right? Your dreams.
And so then I'm telling him, did you know this was a dream? This is actually a dream of mine. And he's like, this isn't a dream of yours. You've never told me about such things.
Like,
you know?
Listen here, pal.
Yeah. And I'm like, I have a lot of dreams I never told you about. No. And that's what these next 50 years are going to be. You discovering them. No. Yeah. And his background is actually, he is a starving artist. I mean, he majored in art, fine art. He's a graphic designer. He designed this sweatshirt. And so we kind of realized actually together we can probably put on pretty cool shows using both of our gifts, talents, interests, and also have a ton of fun. And someone once advised me, and he said, I think every family should be on mission, meaning he doesn't mean mission like go be evangelizing people on the street kind of mission, don't move to Africa and do that sort of thing. But that, you know, for a lot of families, it's the family business. Whatever the family business is, that's your mission. The whole family is contributing and trying to make sure that business succeeds and flourishes. For other families, it might look differently. We thought that because we don't own a business, that our thing would be that we would just have an open home and we'd be serving beautiful meals all the time and hosting people, and people knew when they come to our house that they'll be welcomed and they'll maybe get food that's they don't normally get, or something a little bit nicer than they know. You know, we always try to like go a little bit extra when somebody comes over, and I love setting the table. I don't know, just doing some of those things. And so I thought, okay, that's going to be, and my husband also happens to be a good cook. But then when we realized that our gifts combined really lent themselves well to theater, and then the response we got after we did our first show, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, especially confirmed it, that, okay, this is supposed to be our family mission. This is how we serve the community while using our own gifts and also enriching our own souls in the process.
I absolutely loved The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe that you put on. Was it last year?
Yes, last year. It's crazy. Last year was our first show, and now we're working on our third.
Yes. You had Cheaper by the Dozen in the middle.
Yes.
Which I think I've heard you say that the interesting thing and the difference between that one and Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, which, I mean, there's many differences, but you said something about it's just one scene, really, right?
Yes,
on the stage.
The set never changes.
Yeah.
Everything in the play takes place in that one scene setting in their house, in their living room, basically. So people come and go in and out of the house, but it all takes place there, which meant we could really go hard on the set because we didn't have to design it so that it could move on and off stage easily.
True. Things we don't think about as,
right.
You know, in this, I was going to say the stands.
in the seats. And the Panada has very small limited wing space as well. So to not have to worry about that either. Like, this thing's just going to sit on stage the whole time. My husband led set design for that show for Cheaper, and he built a double-decker set with a great team. of folks helping him out. And that thing was a monstrosity. I mean, it took a while to get in and get out, but it paid off. I mean, it really did feel like you were looking at the inside of a house. I mean, we heard that over and over again. That set. And so for every show, I kind of have something in mind where I think this is going to be the thing that this show really leans on, highlights. And for Lion, Limit, and Wardrobe, it was kind of everything. I mean, the costumes were great. The makeup was great.
Gorgeous.
The set was great. Everything was great. But for me, that show, the costumes were the big lift. I mean, how do you make Aslan? How do you make a human into a lion and not have it be too corny?
True.
The witches' costumes were amazing. The wolf. We had Mr. Tumnus is a half goat man. I mean,
yes.
The beavers. The costumes were nuts for that show. But for Cheaper by the Dozen, we were like, okay, set is going to be the thing that we really pour into and try to go all out. And for 1776, the next play, it's our first musical. So really, it's the music, right? That we're, and as we do more and more musicals, I don't think I'll always say it's the music that's our focus point. But because this is our first musical, we want to make sure that the music is tight and that it's community theater, but that when people show up, they realize how much talent really is in this town, because we have some guys in this show that could be professionals. They really could. I mean, I'm not just saying that. I hope that you're able to attend.
Yes, me
and
too.
then I'll ask you, like, who are those two guys do you think I was talking about?
Ooh,
and you'll be like, oh,
no pressure, Cass. No big deal.
Yeah. I mean, and all the cast is great. I'm not trying to, but I mean, there's
Yes.
And to have a male cast. So these are men on stage singing. Many of them haven't done a play since they were in high school.
Okay.
Or maybe have never done a play. They just sang in their choir or, did a
Karaoke,
little
like your
karaoke
husband.
here and there. These are guys that like sing in the shower but now they're getting trained by a professional, our music director, Katie Skidmore, who, teaches voice lessons for a living. Watching her work with these like regular everyday people who are not professional singers and turn them into that kind of quality has been phenomenal. And I do these little interviews with all the cast, and one of the questions I ask them sometimes is, what do you think will surprise people the most about this show? And I think anybody I've asked that, unanimously, they've all said the talent. Like, you're going to walk into this thinking, it's community theater, the singing is going to be okay. It's going to be all right. They'll probably, in most community theaters, there's like that one person who can really sing, and then everyone else is just okay. I think people are going to walk out and be like, I don't have a favorite number. I can't pick. Who's my favorite singer? I can't pick. I mean, so many good numbers, so many strong singers. That is what I want people to be talking about after they watch the show.
Well, this is so well timed too, because 1776, your production is taking place the first week of July, right?
Yes, 4th of July weekends. Yes, yeah. We opened
Very
on July
patriotic.
2nd. Yes. When I was looking at the calendar and I'm like, what shows can we marry up with certain holidays? And I realized 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and the 4th of July is on a Saturday.
Okay.
That's too good. So
Done and done.
We knew 1776 was going to be it. And one thing that I had wanted to do with the previous shows that I didn't do, kind of because I was scared, and still this might come back to bite me in the butt, I don't know, but we're doing it for 1776, is on the 4th of July, we're having a charity show before the play.
Okay.
So you can show up to the Little Canada. Don't show up. I mean, buy a ticket. Or I don't know if there'll be any available at the door. It's very limited. There's only 48 tickets. So I'm expecting that it will sell out or get very close to selling out.
Sure.
But dinner is catered by Ivano's. So you get dinner and a show. Not 1776. That comes after. What you're getting during the dinner is live music by Joe Davi, is his name. And he describes his music as symphonic soul.
Wow.
And so a little bit of soul, a little bit of jazz, even a little bit of like kind of blues and pop flavors. He's kind of hard to pin down.
Okay.
But my thought is that you're getting two original American art forms in one night. You're getting jazz, jazz and blues inspired music, and soul, like American soul music, obviously invented in America.
Yes.
So you're getting that genre. And then you get to go watch the American musical. I mean, I don't know that people realize this, but the art form, the musical, was invented in America. And so, there's not a ton of art forms that are original to America, but jazz, soul, blues, and the American musical are two of them. So why not participate in those two art forms to celebrate 250 years.
That's so divinely lined up, I feel like, for you.
And I forgot to mention, it's a charity show because we're we're calling it the pre-funk. The pre-funk with Joe Davi and dinner.
Like that.
Those tickets, that the money raised from that dinner is going to support North Idaho veterans.
Oh, even better.
Yes. So North Idaho Veterans is an arm of Thin Line Community Support. And so Thin Line Community Support supports all like first responders, police officers, firefighters, soldiers, that sort of thing. We're going to be giving directly to their veteran program because 4th of July, it just felt like that was the charity that we should be supporting while we're remembering the war that got us all started as a country. And my hope is that if it goes well, we would do this for future shows, but we would pick a different charity for every show, that a charity that kind of relates to the show. So if we were going to pick a charity for Cheaper by the Dozen, it would be something that serves children like CASA or, something child related. And so we'll see how this one goes. I hope people show up and buy tickets. It's for a great cause. And, downtown is going to be nuts. The restaurants are going to be nuts. Some of them you can make reservations at. I'm assuming on the 4th of July, a lot of them don't even do that. And so make your plans at the Canada.
I love
have
that.
your dinner plans lined up. You don't have to worry. Just walk in, be entertained. And you can buy a ticket where it includes the play afterwards. So, you go, you eat dinner, you hear the music, and then you just walk, the little Canada and the big Canada are connected. So you just walk on over and take your seat for the play. Or there is an option to buy tickets for just the dinner and the show. So if you're like, that's a lot, I don't want to stay up that late or whatever, you want to go to fireworks and not miss any of them, if you can do that as well.
This is great. That's going to be a really great day all around. And really, I imagine that your affinity for patriotism, I guess you could say, or even just the military, does it come and stem from your service yourself?
Yes and no. I mean, that was part of the reason why I joined the military. Was I was pretty pro-military at the time, and I thought, well, I should join. I have all these strong opinions about the military, and I don't know what it's like to serve. I don't really know how they operate, and so that was part of the reason why I joined. Now, I think I said this before I joined the military, but now I believe it even stronger. I think the military should be audited. I think there's a lot of waste there. The military is not a perfect place or a perfect institution by any stretch of the imagination, but it's one that's necessary. And I do believe that we should support our veterans, and it's unacceptable to have homeless veterans. And, a lot of them, the wars are, I know we're like in a conflict right now with Iran, but the kind of wars that produced lots of men with PTSD and all kinds of other problems, that's been, gone for a while. As far as like my generation, there's not many people younger than me that have PTSD and things like that.
Sure.
But there are still World War II veterans that are still alive. There's still Vietnam veterans that are still alive. The Korean War, and the conflicts in the Middle East that started when I was a child, right? So there's still lots of veterans that need to be taken care of. And I do believe, like, as a country, whatever your thoughts are about the various wars and conflicts that we've been in, or the military itself, we need to support our veterans.
Sure, yes. And we have plenty right here in our community that can use a little love and support.
Yes. I believe, veterans are overrepresented in Bonner and Boundary County.
Yeah, no doubt. That's great. What a great way to combine all your favorite things, but also give a space for everybody at the table, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think that's great. How did you come up with this idea?
The charity show, or?
Yes, the whole day.
Like I said, I'd had the charity. I thought about doing a charity like pre-funk for Cheaper by the Dozen, and then I basically just chickened out and was like, no one will come, and what if I don't buy tickets or don't sell enough tickets, and maybe I'm not established enough, and I could be the same. This could happen, maybe nobody really maybe everyone wants to just be barbecuing, on the 4th of July, and was the wrong date and time to choose something like this. But I knew that I wanted Honey Pearl Productions, I should say, is not a 501c3, though we operate like a nonprofit in every way, except for that. We're volunteer run completely. My husband and I have never taken a paycheck. We share all of our financials I basically give a little scholarship to somebody in our production crew. After every show, we've sent them to basically have an experience, go to costume college or go see this professional show to try to cultivate the production crew specifically. So for all intents and purposes, we run like a nonprofit, but we don't get the tax benefits. We can't apply for grants. We can't do some of those things, which is fine. We've decided that we don't want to be run by a board, that my husband and I want to be able to make decisions quick and efficiently, and we want control. And maybe there's a day when we will turn into a 501c3 officially, but that day has not yet come. However, I want our organization to feel, as we get more notoriety and people come to know our name, and I want the county and actually northern Idaho, Bonner and Boundary County, I want people to, one, know our name, Honey Pearl Productions, and two, feel like Honey Pearl Productions is an integral part of the community. That if Honey Pearl Productions were to go away, it would hurt.
Yeah.
Not just because we're putting on good shows that are free to participate in, right? The other programs out there, sometimes you have to pay to even audition to be in a community theater program, which I understand why that is. It's expensive. Okay. These are expensive to put on.
Sure.
And so that's not, putting down any organization that does things that way, but we have committed ourselves to keeping it free for participants like actors. And we also want to give back to other charities in the community. So it's not just, hey, Honey Pearl Productions puts on good shows. Honey Pearl Productions puts on good shows. The people that participate them have a great time. And also they share the love. They pass it forward. And when they profit on a show, they share that with the community.
I love it. Real quick, what is the story behind the name?
Oh, yes.
Is there one?
There is.
Okay.
Yes. Honey Pearl. My grandma is named Pearl. My grandparents have both passed away, but her name was Pearline, but she went by Pearl. And then she called my grandpa Jack Honey. Now, I don't mean honey like, honey, can you pass me the remote? She called him Honey. When she would talk, he died before her. When she would talk about him, she'd say, oh, Honey used to love, that book, and Honey used to do this. And, I never heard her say his name. Okay. He was Honey. And so my dad actually owns a dude ranch out in Ocean Shores, Washington. And he named his ranch Honey Pearl Ranch. Oh. And he actually closed down his ranch a couple years ago. He retired. And so there was nothing named Honey Pearl out there anymore. And so I thought Honey Pearl Productions, there's an alliteration there. I've always thought that was a good name. It sounds, sweet and rich, and Honey Pearl, right? It just sounds appealing.
Yes.
And so we decided to pick up that name in honor of my grandparents. Funny enough, my dad came out of retirement last year and decided he wanted to do the horses again. So now there's Honey Pearl Ranch again and Honey Pearl Productions. It didn't last long. So there's 2 Honey Pearls out there, but that's where the name comes from.
Oh, I love it. And it's still a family name, really.
Sure.
So,
yep.
So it's not like one of you is going to sue the other.
No.
Of course not.
Of course, he loved that I called it Honey Pearl Productions.
Yes, of course. Oh, that's adorable. I've always wondered that, so I'm glad I asked. You were talking earlier about, mission and how it applies really to a family, and that's really how this production company was built. Mm-hmm. And you can even read on your website, essentially your mission statement, that involves enriching the community through transformative power of performing arts. I wrote it down so that I could say it, do it some justice.
You could probably say it better than I could have. You asked me to say it off the top of my head. I'd be like, ooh, something about enriching power.
Sounded really good at the time. That's why I wrote it down. Yeah. No. So what do you attribute providing shows for the community in this way? How does it enrich and transform our community?
Yeah, I think I know that it enriches and transforms because it enriched and transformed me as a kid. Mm-hmm. And there's some of the obvious things that people will point out, right? If you're going to be an actor, stage presence translates into being a better public speaker and just having confidence generally, and some of those obvious things. But also, putting on a play with the actors and the production crew is a team. It's a team effort. It's a team sport. Sure. And sports aren't for everybody. I happen to love sports, was a college athlete, but, sports are not for everybody. And community theater and performing, you put on a ballet, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to have people behind the scenes and the dancers. it's a group effort that forces you to, I think, interact with different skill sets and not necessarily personalities. There's different personalities on a sports team, but different skill sets more so than you actually even would on a team, on a sport. Because if it's a basketball team, for instance, everybody, especially if it's more of an elite team, everyone is working on the same skills: dribbling, shooting, passing. They're all athletic to an extent, right? Different levels of athleticism across, of course. But in theater, you're going to have introverts and extroverts, and people who are really good with their hands, and people who are really smart and they're witty, and people who, just don't work as well in a team and they need time to just work individually. And that can even be actors, right? For me personally, sometimes when I'm working on something, I'm like, I can't work this out in front of a group. I need to go home and stand in front of the mirror and work out how I'm going to sing this part or do this monologue or whatever the case may be. So you have people come at it with very different ways in which they learn and have to complete their tasks, but you're all still working towards the same goal. And because you're forced to interact with so many different personalities and types of people through a play, it makes you, I think, appreciate different types of people and personality sets than you would typically, because birds of a feather tend to flock together. I think if you think back to high school and the cliques that existed there, what is it? Bowling for Soup, the song High School Never Ends, right? Those cliques continue on into adulthood, and people who are the nerdy, quiet, artsy types, they tend to come together, and the loud, obnoxious party people, they, come together. And all of those personalities come together in a show because theater is for everybody. There's something for everyone, no matter what your interest is, no matter what your creative outlet is. If you like to paint, we can do that. If you're a tech guy, we've got lights and sound and things that you can mess with there. If you just want to record the show as the keepsake, you can do that. Of course, if you want to be an actor, you want to be a singer, you want to play an instrument, whatever it is. And that just means you get the full breadth, I feel, of what humans are frequently if you have a big enough crew. And so that's one way that you're enriched, not just in the way that you're developing your own skills, which of course you are, and you're discovering things about yourself that you may not have known before, weaknesses, sometimes a light might be shown on the things that you need to improve that you didn't actually like to admit before, but also watching other people shine in these roles and realizing, all these different personality types, interests, creative spirits have value is something that happened to me as a kid. Not that I was devaluing people, but just the friendships that came out of theater were different than my friendships that came out of playing basketball.
Okay, yeah.
And so the other point that I'll make is that as a Christian, I believe that God is the creator, capital C, right? But we're made in his image. And so that means we as humans are creators as well. And so if you're not creating, and artists, people who are artsy will tell you this: if I'm not creating, I feel like broken. Something's wrong in me. But I actually think this applies to even people who don't consider themselves artsy. A mom might tell me she's not creative, and I'm like, well, you're a mom. You have 2 little kids. You're creative, honey. And your creativity is now coming out in them in the way that you raise them. And so the performing arts are an outlet to be image bearers of God, be creative. And that ultimately, I think, kind of like I think I mentioned it earlier, enriches our own souls.
Absolutely. I love that perspective. As you know, I like to paint and put outfits together.
Yes.
We all have our different ways of creating. But I used to tell my classes that I would teach that everything we do is art. And I truly believe that. And it can be even in the way that you make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich for your kids, that's art. You're putting this life together. And it makes sense that theater would bring all of that out of people. That does make sense.
And you end up sometimes dabbling in things that you never thought you'd dabble in because of theater. You thought, I'm just the costume girl, but then actually this is happening in our show right now. One of our stage managers is auditioning for a play when a different play, not a play that I'm putting on. When she had told me a year ago, I'll never get on stage or anything like that. I'm like a behind the scenes person. And here she is auditioning, so you find out that maybe I do have interests that I didn't realize that I had, or maybe I do even have skills that I didn't realize that I have, or value that I bring that I didn't realize that I bring. And yeah, that's the beautiful thing about that. And we emphasize in that mission statement, we say the performing arts. We don't just say theater, a community theater, because I think a lot of these principles that I'm describing apply to all the performing art forms, like a ballet, right? Sure. Basically has the same components that we would have. They have a set, they have costumes, they have light design, they have sound, they do all these things as well. And I think they're all, equally valuable. And so Honey Pearl Productions wants to promote and uplift the other organizations out there doing the performing arts too, whether it's a dance studio, music school, whatever.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. So we have 1776 coming up, and we have your charity dinner on the 4th of July.
That's on the 4th.
That will help our local veterans. What else is on the horizon for you other than, and your growing family?
Yeah.
Are your kids old enough to be or showing interest in like being actors or being part of the process?
My oldest daughter is obsessed with the plays, and she actually was a mouse in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, she was. That's right. I do remember.
Yes, she was one of the little mice, and she had a great time.
Oh, so cute.
And actually, we have like a secret mission, my husband and I, to have a Kiehn in every show, even if it's just a small role, right? So
it makes sense.
Yeah, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Daisy, my daughter, was in that one as a mouse, and then in Cheaper by the Dozen, I actually created a prequel for that show. So my daughter Lavender was in the prequel, very small part. But then the youngest of the dozen is a baby, and I had a baby, and so Susie was the baby and got carried around on stage and all of that. So I had two of my daughters were in Cheaper by the Dozen, and of course my husband. Or actually, I don't think we even talked about this. My husband is playing Thomas Jefferson in 1776. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yes.
So he's got a long way from singing Jesus Take the Wheel or whatever he sang at karaoke.
It was not Jesus Take the Wheel. I can tell you that. It was probably Outkast.
Okay. No.
Not church appropriate songs. I can promise you that.
Oh, that's so funny. But see, you gave each other that space to develop and create and get that confidence that you're talking about and doing other things.
Yeah.
Great.
Seeing him sing like this is so fun. I mean, and that's part of the adventure of marriage too, which is, I don't want to take up too much time on this podcast, but that's what I think this show 1776 is actually about marriage. It's not just about the Declaration and the founding of the country, but the fun thing about marriage is Stefan and I never dreamed, hoped, imagined we'd be doing theater together. I never thought I would see him sing on stage. It just wasn't something I thought about yet. Oh, yes or no, right? It's just not something. I've also never thought about him, becoming an astronaut. Like there's just things that you don't think about. But then here we are, just a few years later, we're celebrating 6-7 years of marriage this year. What's the year? Somewhere in there. And so we haven't even been married that long, and still our life has gone in a direction that I never would have guessed, but it's so fun.
Yes, I love your adventures. I do. And I love that all your kids have really beautiful flower names.
Yes.
I love that too. Can't wait to hear what the new baby is. I won't put you on the spot to see if you have one already.
Oh, I'm type A. I had a list of names, like 10 long for boys and girls. So we have 3 girls and 1 boy right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't find out typically if it's a boy or girl until we have, So we'll find out when the baby's born.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so before you go, I want to do this quick little quick fire round.
Okay.
So it's kind of this or that. So just don't think about it. Don't overthink it.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you some questions and you just tell me what answer comes to mind.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
No wrong answer, by the way. Coffee shop meeting or Zoom call?
Coffee shop.
Okay. Small town charm or big city energy?
Small town charm.
I wasn't sure how you would answer being from different areas of Washington, but that's okay, good. Obviously, you ended up here. So behind the camera or in front of it?
In front of it.
Okay. Audience laughter or audience tears?
Laughter.
Okay.
I was class clown in high school.
You little silly Sally, you. Rehearsals or live performance?
Live performance.
Okay. And is there a costume piece? You have to know I was going to ask this. Is there a costume piece that you wish you could wear in real life? Like, has there been something? Either part of your plays or whatever.
Well, the best costumed play ever, I think, is Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. especially the most recent revival on Broadway, amazing costumes. But for my shows, it's colonial, right? So Abigail and Martha get to wear some fun dresses for 1776, especially Martha. She's supposed to be the very feminine, pretty girl that everyone immediately falls in love with kind of thing. And her dress is going to be beautiful.
I'm imagining like ruffles.
And like poof,
and lots of is it bustle?
There's a bustle. It's blue and white. And that's another thing about doing a Honey Pearl Productions play. Most of our cast gets to keep their costumes.
Oh, really?
So Maddie Patterson, who plays Martha, gets to keep that dress, and it's like, girl, you are.
Oh.
Vicky Turnbull, who did our costumes for Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and is making some of them for 1776 to include that dress for Martha Jefferson, is amazing. I actually had someone who auditioned. She's like, I'm kind of just hoping that Vicky ends up making my costume. Like, that's really what I'm hoping to get out of this. And Vicky did not make her costume, so she didn't get it. But yeah, amazing costumes. I mean, colonial time. These men are going to be in powdered wigs.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be fun.
Oh, yes. My son is in one, probably as we speak, because he's practicing for his wax museum as George Washington tomorrow.
He should come to the show and wear his costume, honestly.
Oh, that's a great idea. We're doing that. And then one more question. Because this is a musical, this production that you're putting on in July, if your life had a theme song, would it be upbeat or cinematic?
Upbeat.
Okay.
I think I'm actually kind of boring. It's not going to be, it's not going to be anything too crazy. It'll just be a happy, simple song.
You, girl, are not boring. And I have loved chatting and catching up with you. So don't be a stranger.
I won't.
But thanks for being here today and for everything that you're doing for us in this community.
Thank you so much.
Well, friends, thanks for listening. I'll be back soon with more of the good news, but in the meantime, you can keep up with us on Facebook, Instagram, and at crecIdaho.com. Until next time.